The Grove, with its elegant blend of Greek and Creole architecture, stands as a reminder of a tumultuous past. Built in 1861, the house has seen its share of history, but it's the unexplained phenomena that have cemented its reputation as one of the scariest places in America. One of the most chilling stories involves a lady in white who reportedly appeared just before a restaurant was set to open. Staff members described her as ethereal, drifting through the halls before vanishing into the power room. When they searched for her, panic set in, and the search yielded nothing, no trace of the woman, only an unsettling sense of being watched. Visitors to the Grove often report strange occurrences. Odd smells wafting through the air, the sound of footsteps echoing in empty rooms, and shadowy figures flitting just out of sight. Some claim to have seen visions of people dressed in period clothing, suggesting the spirits of those who lived and died in the house still linger. The origins of these disturbances may be tied to a darker chapter in the house's history. During the Reconstruction era, a northern carpetbagger and his men met a grisly fate at the hands of local residents. The brutal murder sent shockwaves through the community, and many believe their restless spirits are now intertwined with the Grove. Guests often leave with an uneasy feeling, convinced that they're not alone. Some even report being touched or feeling a sudden drop in temperature, as if unseen presences are lingering just out of reach. As the sun sets, the house takes on an air of mystery, drawing ghost hunters and curious visitors alike, all eager to uncover the secrets hidden within its walls. Despite its haunted reputation, the Grove remains a fascinating piece of history, a place where the past and present collide, inviting exploration and contemplation of the stories both eerie and intriguing that it holds. As dusk fell over the Grove, a group of curious visitors gathered for a ghost tour, eager to learn more about the haunted history of the house. The tour guide, an enthusiastic local historian, led them through the dimly lit rooms, recounting tales of the lady in white and the tragic fate of the carpetbagger. "This house has been a witness to so much," she said, gesturing to the ornate furnishings and faded photographs that adorned the walls. Every creak of the floorboards tells a story. As they made their way to the power room, the atmosphere grew tense. The guide paused, sharing the unsettling story of the restaurant staff who had encountered the mysterious woman. "Many believe she is searching for something or someone," she added, her voice dropping to a whisper. Suddenly, a chill swept through the room, causing the hairs on the back of everyone's necks to stand on end. One of the visitors, a skeptical young man, laughed nervously, trying to dismiss the feeling. But as he did, a faint scent of jasmine filled the air, wrapping around them like a shroud. "Do you smell that?" one woman asked, her eyes widening. "It's beautiful, but strange." The guide nodded, her expression serious. "That scent has been reported many times. It often appears just before an encounter with the lady in white." Just then, a loud bang echoed from the adjoining room, causing everyone to jump. The guide motioned for silence, and they all strained to listen. The sound of soft, muffled whispers floated through the air, growing louder but still unintelligible. "Let's move," the guide suggested, leading them back to the main hall. As they walked, the walls seemed to pulse with energy, and the visitors felt as though eyes were watching them from every corner. The group settled in the main parlor, where the guide recounted the story of the carpetbagger. She explained how he had arrived in town with his men, intent on exploiting the post-war economy, only to find himself the target of local ire. "His arrogance led to a swift end," she said, her voice low. "Some believe his spirit still roams these halls, seeking revenge." As she spoke, a sudden draft swept through the room, flickering the candles. One visitor gasped, pointing toward the far wall where a shadow appeared to shift, momentarily taking the form of a man in period clothing. Gasps and murmurs filled the air, and the guide quickly took charge. "Stay calm. This is what we're here for, an experience of the unknown. If there are spirits here, let's honor their presence." Just then, a chilling silence enveloped them, and the temperature dropped significantly. The guide encouraged them to call out to the spirits, to let them know they were there. Hesitantly, the group began to speak, each voice filled with a mixture of fear and curiosity. "Is anyone here?" one woman asked, her voice shaking. A loud crash interrupted their inquiries, and the door to the power room swung open on its own, revealing darkness beyond. A palpable tension filled the air as the group hesitated, unsure of whether to investigate or retreat. The guide stepped forward, her flashlight illuminating the doorway. "Let's take a look," she said bravely. "Perhaps the lady in white is trying to communicate." As they ventured into the power room, the scent of jasmine grew stronger, and the atmosphere crackled with energy. Shadows danced along the walls, and the whispers intensified, becoming clearer. They could make out fragmented words, filled with emotion, longing, sadness, and a hint of anger. "Help me," a voice pleaded softly, sending shivers down their spines. The group exchanged fearful glances, realizing they were no longer merely spectators. They were part of a story that demanded to be told. The guide encouraged them to listen, to understand the pain of those who had come before them. "Who are you?" she called into the darkness, her voice steady. "What do you need from us?" Suddenly, the room seemed to pulsate with energy, and a figure began to materialize in the corner, cloaked in a shimmering light. It was the lady in white, her expression both haunting and beautiful. She looked at them, her eyes filled with an overwhelming sadness, as if she were searching for something long lost. The group stood frozen, captivated and terrified. They had come seeking ghosts and stories, but what they found was a soul trapped between worlds, yearning for release. As the lady in white reached out toward them, the whispers escalated, intertwining with the flickering lights and the scent of jasmine, creating a vivid tapestry of the past that enveloped them completely. The guide, feeling the weight of the moment, stepped forward once more, ready to confront the mystery that had haunted the grove for so long. "We're here to help you," she said, her voice firm yet compassionate. "What do you need to find peace?" The air grew heavy with anticipation, and as the lady in white hovered before them, the truth of her sorrow began to unfold. "Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story." As the lady in white hovered before them, her expression shifted, a blend of sorrow and hope. The whispers around them quieted, allowing the group to hear her soft voice clearly, resonating with an ethereal quality. "I seek what was lost," she murmured, her gaze fixed on the guide. "A promise broken, a life taken too soon." The guide's heart raced as she processed the weight of the lady's words. "What promise? Who are you looking for?" she asked gently, trying to establish a connection. The lady in white began to drift closer, her form becoming more defined, revealing the delicate features of a young woman from another time. "My name is Elizabeth," she said, her voice filled with longing. "I waited for him, my love. He was taken from me during the chaos, and I never found his body." The group listened, captivated, as Elizabeth's story unfolded. She spoke of a romance that had blossomed amidst the turbulence of the Civil War, a love that had offered her hope in dark times. But when the carpetbagger and his men had come to town, everything changed. Her beloved had been among those who tried to protect the community, and in the ensuing conflict, he had lost his life. "I was promised that he would return to me," Elizabeth continued, tears glistening in her spectral eyes. "But I was left alone, searching, always searching." The atmosphere thickened with emotion, and the group felt the weight of Elizabeth's grief pressing down on them. The guide, feeling a surge of empathy, stepped forward. "We can help you find closure," she said. "Let us help you honor his memory." The lady in white looked at her, hope flickering in her gaze. "You can do that? Perhaps we can find his resting place, or at least uncover what happened to him." The guide replied, determination flooding her voice. "We can give you both the peace you deserve." With that promise, Elizabeth's spirit shimmered with a newfound light. "Thank you," she whispered, a soft breeze brushing through the room as if she were embracing the possibility of release. "But you must hurry. The darkness grows restless." Suddenly, the shadows around them began to writhe again, as if sensing the shift in energy. The temperature dropped further, and the whispers returned angrier now, echoing warnings and threats that filled the room with tension. "Stay close," the guide urged, rallying the group as they moved back toward the main hall, Elizabeth leading the way. they felt a strange pull, guiding them toward a hidden corner of the house where the remnants of the past lay buried. As they ventured deeper into the grove, the walls seemed to close in, the weight of history palpable. The scent of jasmine faded, replaced by the musty odor of forgotten spaces. They entered a small, dusty room that had once served as a storage area, cluttered with old furniture and boxes. "Here," Elizabeth said, her voice stronger now. He was hidden here after the chaos." The guide felt a chill run down her spine as they began to search through the debris. They moved aside the furniture, revealing a hidden trapdoor beneath a tattered rug. With a shared sense of urgency, they worked together to pry it open. As the door creaked open, a damp, dark space awaited them below. The guide grabbed a flashlight, illuminating the narrow staircase that spiraled into the depths. The air was thick with tension, and Elizabeth's presence flickered with both anticipation and fear. "Be careful," she cautioned, her voice echoing softly. "The past is not always forgiving." One by one, they descended into the darkness, the beam of light cutting through the shadows. The group felt a mixture of fear and exhilaration, knowing they were on the brink of uncovering a long-buried secret. As they reached the bottom, they found themselves in a small, forgotten crypt, its walls lined with old, crumbling stone. In the center of the room lay a makeshift grave, marked by a simple wooden cross. As they approached, Elizabeth's form shimmered with emotion. "This is it," she breathed, a mixture of relief and sorrow flooding her features. "This is where he was laid to rest." The guide knelt beside the grave, her heart heavy with the weight of the moment. "We're here for you," she whispered, feeling the energy of the room shift once more. "You are not alone anymore." As she spoke, the air around them began to crackle with intensity, a storm brewing in the depths of the crypt. The shadows grew darker, swirling ominously, as if the lingering spirits of the past were rising in protest. "Leave now," a guttural voice echoed, reverberating through the small space. The group gasped, fear washing over them as they felt the oppressive force of anger and resentment bearing down on them. But Elizabeth's spirit glowed brighter, pushing back against the darkness. "I will not be silenced," she cried, her voice rising in defiance. "I seek only to honor my love." The air pulsed with energy, and the shadows surged forward, threatening to engulf them all. The guide, sensing the urgency, rallied the group. "We must honor him. We can do this together." In unison, they reached out, forming a circle around the grave. "We honor you," they called, their voices echoing in the crypt. "We remember you." As their words filled the space, Elizabeth's light intensified, pushing back against the encroaching darkness. The shadows howled, a cacophony of anguish, but the group held strong, determined to help her find peace. In that moment, the air shifted once more, and the shadows began to recede, their whispers fading into the silence. Elizabeth's spirit glowed with a warmth that filled the room, and the oppressive weight of the darkness lifted. With a final, radiant smile, Elizabeth turned toward the group. "Thank you," she said softly, her voice now filled with gratitude. "You have given me my freedom." As she began to dissolve into shimmering light, the crypt was filled with a sense of calm. The remnants of the past slowly faded, leaving behind an air of serenity. The group felt a profound shift in the atmosphere, a sense of closure that echoed through the very walls of the grove. Though the darkness had been vanquished, the story of Elizabeth and her love would live on, woven into the very fabric of the house. As they made their way back to the surface, the guide turned to her fellow visitors, their faces illuminated with awe and wonder. "We've honored their memory," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "And perhaps we've set the stage for new beginnings." With that, they stepped back into the light of the evening, carrying with them the powerful story of love and loss, forever etched in their hearts. As the group emerged from the depths of the crypt, a palpable sense of peace washed over them. The shadows that had once loomed large now felt like distant memories, remnants of a past finally acknowledged and laid to rest. The guide turned to the group, her eyes shining with a mix of exhilaration and relief. "We did it," she breathed, a smile breaking across her face. Elizabeth can finally move on. The others nodded, their expressions reflecting a shared sense of accomplishment. The air felt lighter, the oppressive weight of history transformed into something uplifting. "Let's celebrate this," one of the visitors suggested, her voice filled with excitement. "We've not only experienced something extraordinary but helped a soul find peace." They made their way back to the main hall of the grove, where the atmosphere had shifted completely. Gone were the cold drafts and uneasy whispers. Instead, the space felt warm and welcoming. The candles flickered gently, casting a soft glow that seemed to dance in celebration. As they gathered in a circle, the guide encouraged everyone to share their experiences. Each person spoke of their encounters, the feelings of connection they had felt, and the profound impact of witnessing Elizabeth's journey. Laughter and tears mingled as stories flowed, creating a tapestry of shared humanity and understanding. Just then, the scent of jasmine wafted through the room again, filling their senses. It was a comforting reminder of Elizabeth's presence, a sign that she was no longer bound by the pain of the past. "Let's raise a toast," the guide suggested, her voice brimming with emotion. "To love, to memory, and to those who came before us. May we honor their stories and carry them forward." As they lifted their glasses, a soft glow enveloped the room, and they felt a warm breeze wash over them, as if Elizabeth herself were joining in their celebration. In that moment, they realized that the grove was no longer just a haunted house. It had become a sacred space where history and memory intertwined, a testament to love that transcended time. The echoes of the past would continue to resonate within its walls, but now they were intertwined with hope and healing. As the night wore on, laughter and stories filled the air, and the group slowly began to disperse. They stepped out into the cool evening, the stars twinkling above as if in agreement with the peace they had fostered. Though they had come seeking ghosts and thrills, they left with something much more profound: a connection to the past, a deeper understanding of love, and the realization that even in darkness, there is light to be found. As they walked away from the grove, the house stood quietly behind them, its secrets no longer a source of fear, but a beacon of hope, a place where lost souls could finally find their way home. As the group walked away from the grove, the atmosphere felt transformed, both for them and the house itself. The last remnants of night clung to the edges of the property, but the air was now infused with a sense of tranquility. The oppressive shadows that had once lurked in the corners had lifted, replaced by a warm glow that emanated from within. The guide paused at the front gate, turning back to look at the historic home one last time. She felt a deep connection to the stories they had uncovered that night, the tales of love, loss, and redemption that had reverberated through the walls. With a soft smile, she whispered, "Thank you, Elizabeth. You are free now." As the last guests dispersed into the night, the guide felt a gentle breeze brush past her, as if the very essence of the house was whispering its gratitude. She turned to leave, but before she stepped away, she caught a glimpse of movement in the window, a figure in white, standing serenely, bathed in moonlight. Elizabeth's spirit was still present, but now it radiated peace and contentment. The guide took a deep breath, feeling a sense of closure wash over her. She knew that the stories of the grove would continue to live on, not just as ghostly tales, but as reminders of the power of love and the importance of acknowledging the past. In the weeks that followed, the grove became a place of community gatherings, storytelling events, and celebrations of history. The dark tales that once haunted it transformed into lessons of resilience and connection. People came from far and wide to learn about its history, and the spirit of Elizabeth became a symbol of hope and healing. Local historians, inspired by the guide's experiences, began to document the stories of those who had lived and died in the house, creating a rich tapestry of narratives that honored the lives once lost. The restaurant that had been halted by the paranormal events finally opened its doors, filled with laughter and the aromas of delicious food, becoming a gathering place where the community could celebrate its history. And while the ghost tours continued, they shifted in tone, less about fear and more about connection, weaving together the threads of the past with the vibrancy of the present. Visitors often spoke of feeling an inexplicable warmth, as if they were stepping into a space where love had triumphed over sorrow. As the seasons changed and years passed, the grove stood strong, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Elizabeth's story, once shrouded in tragedy, now served as a beacon of hope. In a world filled with uncertainty, it became a reminder that love can endure beyond the grave, binding us together in ways we might not always see. And so, the grove thrived, its legacy transformed. It became a sanctuary where history and memory intertwined, a place not just of haunting whispers, but of laughter, light, and the enduring power of love that transcends time. Elizabeth had finally found her peace, and in doing so, she had gifted others a new beginning. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story.